Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight, Sunday evening, April 2nd, 2017. I'm Michelle Weinstein, Advanced Director, and you are tuning into week number 3 of 6 Weeks to Success. Tonight, we're talking about host coaching. So this is like halfway through after tonight. I hope you guys have all been having a great time. Have you been enjoying it so far? You must be, because you're all back. Yeah, you've been enjoying the 6 Weeks to Success so far. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about host coaching. I'm going to be doing this screen share, which Karen taught me. I've never done before, so here we go. Hopefully it's going to work. Can you guys see?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Oh, perfect. Okay. So we're talking about host coaching tonight. This is week number 3, like I just told you about. And congratulations, it says you did it again. So if you have been through weeks 1 and 2, weeks 3, like I mentioned, was about host coaching. And what have we learned so far? Well, first of all, let me move this screen over a little bit. Got to get you guys back. Okay, so what have we learned so far? Have you guys really learned to increase your product knowledge?
Oh, yeah.
In order to maximize your sales and your
love mode?
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's like way
I've been in business for 18 years. Karen's been in business for a couple years longer than me. And we are walking encyclopedias of our products. So we pretty much know backwards and forwards how to talk about the products. We talk about them a lot. But, sorry, I went too far with this. Hold on, one more little screen. Karen, don't laugh at me. I'm still trying to know how to do this. All right, hold on. Hold on. So as you can see, anybody can do what I do. But I just can't get
in the back.
There we go. So that you learned that your belief decides what you believe you can do and cannot do. That your brain can be
football.
You're playing ball.
We were talking about belief on week number 1. You've learned how to talk to people out and about. That was
I love how John looks just wearing
Can somebody
goggles.
Mute, everybody funny. Mute their
really
Can everybody mute their microphones? Because we're listening into your private conversations. Okay, that's much better. Okay, but that made my screen go backwards. Hold on just a sec. No jumping forward without me. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we were talking about what we learned, right? In that, the belief. And out and about, so did you guys kind of have your 60-second commercial ready so that when someone asks you what you do, you can just kind of go without pause or hesitation, tell exactly what you do without mumbling and stumbling all over your words. And then you've learned that your passion shines through and completely influence purchases and bookings at your parties. What I like to tell people is that I don't consider myself a salesperson. I consider myself a teacher. I like to teach people how to use our products. If in the course of teaching people about the products, they decide they want to purchase them, well, that's going to be great for my host, and that's going to be great for me, and that's going to be great for the customer because they're going to get a ton of stuff to make life in the kitchen a lot easier. So if we believe in what we do, I think the biggest compliment anybody can give me at a party is to say that it really looks like I love what I do, because I do, and that's my passion shining through. But today we are going to be discussing one of my favorite topics, which is host coaching. Now, how many of you have done any effective host coaching? Just kind of nod your head. You've done some effective host coaching. Do realize that, how you coach your host determines the outcome of your show. So tonight we're going to be teaching you to work smarter, not harder. I like this quote here where it says, host coaching is where you earn your paycheck. It's where you earn it. At your show is where you pick it up. So you can determine your paycheck or influence your paycheck by how effectively we can coach your hosts. And this is really kind of cute too. So we're talking about, how do I coach my hosts effectively? I'm so glad you asked. Although none of you did, I just assume that's why you're here. When you think about it, even if you're a brand new consultant, you still know more about having a very successful show than your hosts do, because you've had lots of training about how to have a successful show. What I like to tell my hosts is that, I have 8 to 10 parties a week, but you're only having one show per year. So, I want to make your show as successful as possible for you, because this is your only one for a while, even though I'm going on to do more of my own. So letting your host know that we are in it to make her or he have a very successful show for them, not for me. So how do we coach our hosts successfully? Well, you start at I can't see that. You start at the top. Start at the party. So say you're at a party and you have someone come up to you and they're sort of talking about having a party, and you finally get a date in the calendar for them at the start of the party. At the party itself. You always want to bring host packets with you, because you don't have to worry about the line behind you or the time. What you can say to them once they've picked their date for the show, what you can say is, hey, I know there's several people waiting to check out. Are you in a hurry to leave? Chances are they're going to say, no, I'm going to stay for a little while longer. And what you can say is, great, because if you have a few minutes, I just kind of want to go over this host packet with you. So starting your host coaching right at the party while they're still excited about the products is going to be one of the most effective ways you can get their attention. So make sure you have some host packets with you at the party. In the packet, you want to be giving them 3 catalogs. 2 of them are for getting outside orders before their show, and 1 is theirs to keep, where they can make up their wish list and make their check marks. That's their host copy. They can write their name right on the front, so they can use that as their wish list. They talk about doing a fridge reminder sheet right there with them, and we're going to talk about that on the next slide. We want to explain how important each step is and when to do it. So it's great if you can have this little fridge reminder sheet, which you can print out, and it's pretty generic. You can print out, give them to them, or send that to them by email. If you've sent it to them, ask them to print it out and put it on top of their fridge. Every time they go to open the refrigerator, they're going to be reminded about their Pampered Chef party and what their next step is. And then you want to tell them about inviting. Before we do that, though, what I like to do with my hosts is I want to say, what do you want to get for free? We want to find out what the host wants. We want to find out the host goal for the party, because they may say, oh, geez, I really want that rock crock, or they may say, oh, I really want that food chopper. Whatever they say, you kind of want to be taking notes about it and make notes on it on your host information sheet, because it's important for us to find out what the host goal is, so that we can keep referring back to them when we're coaching them about their host. So say, for instance, Amy tells me that she wants to get that rock crock for free. That's like her big wish list ticket item. So what I'll say is, hey, Amy, I can help you get that rock crock for free. Do I have your permission to give you some important information that will allow you to have a successful party. Asking for their permission means that they are going to welcome your suggestions. So, Amy, just nod your head that it's okay for me to give you some quick tips on how to make you have how to have you have a successful party. So, what I'm going to say to you is, hey, Amy, you know what? We're going to get that rock crop for you for free. And it all comes down to how many people you can invite. How does, about 40 to 60 people sound to you? A lot of my hosts say, oh my gosh, I cannot fit 40 to 60 people in my house. And I say, well, that's good, because in my 18 years of business, I've never had 40 people at a show. But then I have them pull out the host benefits, have them look on the back where it has the host grid. And I tell them, if you want to get that rock crock for free, we're going to want to get you about $115 to $165 worth of free stuff. How does that sound to you, Amy? Amy will say, great, I would love to get that rock crock for free. And I'll say, great. And it all depends on, remember, how many people you can invite. They won't all show up. Tell them that, for instance, if you invite 40 people, 20 people may say yes, they're available that night. That means that with like 5 or 6 people who cancel the day of the show, and I always tell my host to expect cancellations so she won't feel like a loser when it happens. I'll say, if you have 20 people invited, you might have about 15 who say they can come. You will have about 5 or 6 people cancel on you the day of the show. Somebody's kid got sick, someone's husband isn't home on time. So out of the 40 people you've invited, you'll probably have about 10 to 12 people at your show. And that's a good number to have live at your show. But remember, if you've had 20 who say yes, and you have about 10 people at your show, there's 10 outside orders you can get from the people who said that they could come or said that they weren't available that night. So you can certainly say to them, hey, I'm so sorry you can't make it to my party, but I can send you the link if you want to take a look at my shopping page. I find when I give my host the words to say, rather than just telling her what to do, it makes more sense for her, and she realizes that I really do know what I'm talking about. So rather than saying, I'll get some outside orders from those 10 people who can't come, I say, I'm sorry, you can't make it. Is it okay if I send you a link to my shopping page in case you want to check out the catalog? Giving the host the words to say makes a huge difference in how she's going to take your suggestions. And then if they get about 10 outside orders from the 25 who didn't show up, wow, and 10 people at your party, you have 20 orders. The average order being about $50, you're going to have a $1,000 party. And we all know with a $1,000 party, you get $215 worth of free products. Do you see how we broke that down for the host? We found out from her what she wanted. She wanted a rock crock for free, which is about $119, $139, right? And we told her how to get there by how many people she invited, by telling her what to expect, and then by showing her the numbers. 10 people at your show, 10 outside orders, average of $50 per order means about a $1,000 party. Look, Amy, you're getting $215 worth of free products. Does that sound good to you? Amy says, wow, yes, Michelle, that sounds wonderful to me. And all of a sudden, you've inspired the host to be able to invite those people and ask those people who couldn't come if they want to see the link. This is the fridge reminder that you can actually, and we'll send this to you so you don't have to worry about it. It's a little fridge reminder where you want to send this to your host. It's going to have her URL in there. It's going to have information about the steps that she needs to take to have a successful party, and it all talks about how many people and how many outside orders she can get. I like to tell my hosts that if she can get the people invited, I can do the rest. So again, even if you're a brand new consultant, you still know more than your host does about what it takes to have a successful party. So this kind of gives her a little fridge reminder about the steps to take so that she doesn't feel like you're continuously hounding you. This also talks about giving her postcard invitations that she can send out. It has your contact information on it, so if she has any questions, she can call you. But you're going to be contacting her 1 to 3 times before her party anyway. The biggest host coaching conversation you're going to have with her is the number one, the first one, where you're either doing it at the show or you're reserving time with her for a dedicated phone call where you can go through the host packet with her. You do not want to talk to her in the checkout line at the grocery store about what it takes to have a successful party. She's counting her coupons and she's handing over her debit card and she's making sure they don't put the meat in with the vegetables. She's not listening to you. You want to have a dedicated phone call. If I can't have that phone call with my host the night of the show where she's booked her party, then I say, are you home Tuesday night? How does 7 o'clock work? Here's the host packet. Make sure you have that in front of you. When I call you, it'll only take about 10 to 15 minutes. So don't leave it to chance that you're going to be able to have a successful first call with her. Schedule it with her if you can't do it the night of the show. Next is communication. The biggest complaint of hosts is that they didn't know what to do next. They depend on us. And remember, we're asking them permission to tell them how to have a successful show. When they say yes, that opens the whole entire field for us to give them the best impact for what we know is best. So developing a good host coaching system is the difference between a mediocre show and a fantastic show. Your hosts have to have a clear and concise path to follow to get to the $1,000 show. It's a good idea to say, hey, you want to have a $1,000 show. If you take all of my suggestions, then it's almost guaranteed that you're going to have a $1,000 party. And this is how we call working smarter, not harder. Then you can ask yourself, would you rather go out of your house on a cold winter night to a $300 party or a $1,000 party? You're going out of your house. Wouldn't you rather make $220 versus $60? $60 isn't bad for a couple of hours out of our house, but isn't $220 better? So ask yourself, which show would you rather do? I know what I would rather do. I'd rather make $220. So this says, tell me, if you were blindfolded, could you make a basket from the foul line? Everybody thinks I'm tall and I know how to play basketball. I really don't. I used to just stand there under the basket and have people throw the ball to me and I would put it in. I don't want to have to run up and down the court. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal could probably do it, and that's a whole different training. He's been trained to do that. But could you? It's not impossible. It could happen. But what's the likelihood of you making that basket from the foul line? Look, he's even blindfolded. He could do it. What's the likelihood of you doing it? Your chances are not good, are they? Now, what if I told you Shaq would take the ball out of your blindfolded hands and take it to the hoop? What's the likelihood of you making the basket now? He's an experienced basketball player who practiced and practiced and practiced and perfected his art. It doesn't hurt that he's 7'1" and the goal is only 10 feet. But that's Shaq using his God-given talents to the best of his abilities. It doesn't help just because you're tall. Believe me, which is exactly what I'm going to ask you guys to do. I'm going to ask you to take the ball from your host's hands and help her slam dunk that ball. Okay, she can't do it on her own, especially blindfolded. So what we want to ask you to do is, there's a fine line between contacting your host too many times and not contacting her at all. You set the date, you fill out a host information sheet, make sure you're doing that so you can keep track of your hostesses, otherwise you're never going to remember whose house you're going to be at and what you're going to be making that night. But you can contact your host weekly from the time that you book that show until the time of her party through various forms. Back when I started, it was only phone call. That's all we could do. You can email your hosts. You can text your hosts. You can Facebook message your hosts. So there are a lot of different ways that you can stay in touch with your hosts from the time you book the party until the time that show happens. Obviously, they're going to be making out a Facebook event if they're on Facebook. Everybody wants to do that. So you can post in their Facebook parties every single day up until their party, posting a recipe, a video, getting their guests excited about coming to Susie's party, a tip, something that you're going to show them. So it's a good idea to have that event set up, obviously about 2 to 2.5 weeks before the party so that you can be posting in it. You can use Post My Party or Send Share, which is another training completely, but that posts it for you. You can private message your hosts once a day, saying things like, oh, I'm so excited about your party. I was just looking through recipes. I'll let you know a couple of good ones that I found that we can run by each other. You can text them. Most hosts respond by text. You can say something along the lines of, so how many people have said they're coming so far? Are you reminding people to bring a friend or two? You can friend them on Facebook or have them friend you. It's a good idea. Actually, if you're setting up their event or they're setting up the event for you, you do have to be friends with them on Facebook in order to post in order to be a co-host on their event. You want to develop a sort of a friendship with your host because people don't cancel on people they like. I haven't had a cancellation in quite a long time. It's not because people like me, although I like to think it is. It's because I have stayed in touch with my hosts and kept them excited about their parties. Things happen. Hosts do cancel because life happens. But nobody's going to cancel on you because they forgot to send the invitations if you keep in touch with them. This training talks about making a red stamp invitation. If you're proficient at that, wonderful. I don't do that. Pampered Chef has so many different avenues that you can use on your on Consultants Corner under their marketing images that you can just use one of those marketing images, email, text, Facebook, or whatever, with the Pampered Chef backgrounds, sharing the direct link for the party with them. Making sure they understand the 40-20 = 15 + 10 rule. We talked about that in one of the first slides. This will always work. Give them the words to say to invite, words to say to remind, and words to say if someone says no. So we're talking about inviting 40 people, reminding them that only about 20 people will be available that night, reminding them about maybe 5 or 6 people will cancel, so you're down to 15, but that you want to get 10 outside orders from people who cannot come to your party. So that's the 40-20-15 + 10 rule. Chances are, if they were invited and excited, the guests will want to take a look at the catalog. I picked delicious recipes to demo at their shows and asked them to post the recipe choice they picked on their party. I kind of do a variation of that. I like to pick a theme with the host before the party so that when we're talking about the event or we're talking about the theme in their event, I can be saying, can't wait to meet you on Thursday night to show you how to make delicious fajitas for a quick meal time when you get home from work. So pick a theme, talk about the recipe that you're going to make. And I've had people comment, oh my gosh, I so need this. I so need a healthy in a hurry. I so need a main dish meal. Yes, I'm coming just so I can learn how to feed my family in 20 minutes or less when I get home from work. I tell the hosts that I can mail out a catalog, but I encourage them to use the online link for the party because that's easier for the host. She doesn't have to collect any checks. It's easier for me because people just click on there. They can look through the whole entire catalog online like they're flipping the pages. So if you don't want to be giving away all your catalogs, you don't have to worry about that. And then during my first host coaching call, I'm going all over their host benefits with them in that first host coaching call. Remember, knowing what their goal is important so that you can keep referring them back to that goal. We want to get you that Rock for free. Make sure you have everybody RSVP. Make sure you collect outside orders so that we can get you that Rock for free. So what do you say on your weekly communications to your host? Hey, did you get your packet in the mail? If you mailed it to them. Did I have your information correct on your stickers in your invitation? How many invitations were you able to hand out? Or you can say, how many people were you able to invite? If she says 12, you know that a phone call is in order. If she says, I've invited 12 people, I always say, that's a great start. If she says she invited 40 people, I say, that's a great start. And then I will usually say, did you remember to invite your hairdresser? Did you remember to invite the people in your book club? You know, so my job is to sort of be a memory jogger for them of people that they can invite. Has anyone said no yet? I always tell them that the people who already know that they can't come are the people that they're going to hear no's from first. Because when they get the invitation, they're going to look on their calendar and they're going to say, oh yeah, that's a concert at school I know I can't attend. I tell them that they're going to hear from the no's first so that when they get all of these 10 or 15 no's right off the bat, they don't feel like a loser. They know that that's to be expected. And then I will say, well, if they did say they can't come, what you can say is, sorry, you can't attend. Would you like to look at the online catalog? So I give her the words to say. Some consultants say that when you have 25 people confirmed, they'll bring the recipe ingredients. I think that's a great incentive. Our hosts only spend $10 or less on ingredients anyway, but it sounds like a big deal to the host that if she tells me I have 25 people confirmed, I'll say, wonderful, if you have 25 people confirmed, I will shop for and provide the ingredients for your recipe, which really means when I go to the grocery store to shop for my family, I'll pick up a cake mix and a box of frosting. But she doesn't know it's that easy. I also ask the host to make sure that she posts a couple of times on her Facebook event, a couple of times a week to get her guests engaged and keep them excited. I send her a quick text how the outside order is coming along. Because remember, we had talked about that in our first host coaching call. So a quick little blurb or a quick little text or message is a good reminder. Ask them again, what are you most excited to get for free? She's looked at the catalog by now. And I'll say, is your wish list kind of multiplied? Because I'm sure there's other things that you're hoping that you can get for free. Ask her, who's coming that you know could use some extra cash? Who's coming that you know that might have just lost their job and would like a fun night out? If you have friends who say, I can't come because I can't afford anything, those are the people that you really want to be there. Because not only are they going to have a fun night out, assure them that they don't have to worry about placing an order, but what we have to offer with the business opportunity might just be the thing that their friend needs. And obviously during your host coaching, you are talking to them about, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Chances are they haven't, but hopefully there's some information that you put in their host packet that you can refer them to and tell them that you can talk more in depth about them about that. Tell them to look through the information. And if it's not for them, feel free to refer it to a friend of theirs. Most of our new consultants were hosts first. So they need to know that part of their host benefits is the ability to get that starter kit at a discount. Do you guys all know about that? You know how to get the host some kit credit? If you don't, ask your director, because that's part of her host benefits, using some of her credit to get the kit at a discount. Okay. Whoops, sorry. I just went backwards. So I can send you the verbiage if you like. Oh, yeah, don't email her. She's not going to know what you're talking about. I have the verbiage the same, so I never have to retype any of my little messages that I send to people. I just copy and paste and change the name. The most important thing is just to remember to contact your host weekly. This keeps her on track and ensures that you have a great party going on. How many of you have ever booked a party with another direct sales consultant? She hands you a host packet. She says, I'll see you on the 25th. And on the 25th at 12 noon, she calls you and says, oh, how's our party looking for tonight? Has she told you about inviting? Has she told you anything about the host benefits? Has she told you anything about what to expect? How do you know how many people to invite? How do you know what this all means for you for host benefits? Don't be that consultant. Don't go out of the house and have 2 people show up because you haven't done your host coaching. Okay, your secret weapon, videos. Yes, you read that correctly. Videos. I have started to make my host coaching videos. It's about 10 minutes long. And these are for people who I might have coached over the phone or I might have coached at the show, but I just kind of want to reinforce what I'm saying. So get out a host packet. Sorry, I don't have any. They're all packed away. Get out a host packet. Record yourself going through the host packet with the host. Record yourself telling her about the host benefits and about what she's going to get and about what's in the packet and about the importance of inviting 40 to 50 people, so that if you have been unable to connect with her, she's still seeing your face and hearing your voice saying what it is that you want her to know. It doesn't have to be a huge long thing, but you owe it to your host to make sure that she knows what's to expect to have a successful show. Then I just kind of send it to her via Facebook Messenger so that I can see when they've seen my message. Don't you love Facebook Messenger? You send them an email and you wonder, I haven't heard from her. Did she read my email? But when you send it by Facebook Messenger, there's a little check mark so you know if they saw it. And if there's no checkbook or no reply, a check mark or reply, you can say, hey, did you see my video? What did you think? Do you have any questions? And I will know if they truly have by the questions they ask me. Sometimes I'll say, what color shirt was I wearing in that video? Just wanted to see if you really watched it. So how do you track everything? Say you have 2 parties lined up and they're both your sister-in-law. You know where your sister-in-law lives. You know what you're making at her party. You know who she's inviting to your party because she's your sister-in-law. But what when you branch out outside of your friends and family circle, and all of a sudden on your calendar you have 10 to 12 parties per month? How are you going to keep track of whose party is when, what time, where she lives, what the recipe is? Did you send her a host packet? Oh my gosh, don't be one of those consultants. First of all, as we've talked about before, you want to make sure you have a host information sheet filled out. I'd show you mine, but it's packed away. Filled out on every single one of your hostesses, no matter whether you know her or not. Because that's the only way you are going to keep yourself on track with what you need to do. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I've gone over. Okay, so Make sure you're filling out a host information sheet. When you send them their packet, indicate that on the sheet. When you send them a Facebook message, indicate that on their sheet. If you send them a video, write video on their sheet, on their host information sheet. So you know where you are with your host coaching with that host. And when you're talking to her, set up a time to talk to her next. Say, great, wonderful, you know, your party's on the 20th. How about if I call you on the 18th to finalize our plan, see how many people are coming, and give you recipe ingredients. So, as you know, host coaching is a partnership. It's not just what's in it for you, it's what's in it for your host. She's going to get a ton of free half price and discounted items, and you're going to get a paycheck. Is that worth it to you for that $220 paycheck for one night? Which would you rather have? Okay, so this week's focus is on the skill. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of skill. Use your tools at home. Develop personal stories about the items. Study the catalog. Don't memorize it. You can always refer back to it. Watch and listen to home office trainings. You guys are all on 6 Weeks to Success, so you are you are developing your skills. Make sure you come to your team meetings, your trainings, your recipe nights. Go to National Conference if you signed on after June or July of last year. It's $99. We don't have tips from the top anymore. Read books on selling. Watch YouTube trainings. The Pampered Chef has put out a ton of them. Do lots of shows. You'll get better with every party. Skills are easily taught and easily caught. So you can do it. The more parties you have, the more skillful you will be and the less rusty you will become. Okay, so your homework this week. Are you guys loving these videos? Oh my gosh, you're just learning a ton of stuff. So you want to listen to Host Coaching with Lisa Noto and Michael Yoakley. He's so much fun. You want to go to PC University about host coaching, peer sharing. Share with your recruiter at least 5 takeaways. And I'm going to be posting this homework about the PCU with Lisa and Michael. So make sure you go on there and learn. And then it's the same thing. How many shows will you commit to booking this week? How many host coaching calls will you commit to this week? If you don't know how to do a host coaching call, ask your recruiter or director if you can listen in on one while she or he does it. So you can hear the back and forth between the consultant and the host and the words that they're saying. Record how many leads you got. How many bookings did you get this week at your shows or outside of your shows? What's one brag you have this week? Okay, your director is going to be asking you this. Okay, and that's a picture of me, how I look usually during my day.
Hey, Michelle,
What?
can I give a plug for Business Basics, which is going to be on April 18th via Zoom. It's from 7 to 9. It's for all brand new consultants, but even for seasoned people, if you hop on for the last hour from 8 to 9, it's a refresher on host coaching. So if you want more information about that, and I talk not just about host coaching live shows, but host coaching virtual parties as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great idea. So anybody can join in on that. That's going to be posted. The link is going to be posted on your director's team page.
Yep.
So you definitely want to join in on that. So what did you guys think? Do you have any questions? I'm probably gonna stop the recording now and see if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna stop the recording.